This episode is about the number 11 team on the Juggernaut Index, the New England Patriots. The first and most important thing you need to understand about the Patriots is that they do not care about your fantasy team. In all likelihood, no one in your life cares about your fantasy team. Not your girlfriend, not your coworkers, not your league mates, no one cares. Fantasy management is fundamentally a private act. But of all the people who don't care about your team, the Patriots really don't care. This franchise is too smart to share useful information. Ever. We don't learn anything about this team that they don't want us to know. There's no such thing as an inside scoop in New England. All you ever get is misdirection. Need an injury update? Forget it. Everyone is day to day unless they're on IR. Need a running back? Look elsewhere. This team finishes in the top half of the league in rushing every season, yet the Patriots somehow haven't delivered a 1,000-yard rusher or even a 900-yard rusher since Corey Dillon in 2004. And no, they're not going to reveal anything meaningful about Wes Welker's knee ligament. Just stop asking. You'll recall that Welker tore his MCL and ACL last season in Week 17 during a game in which his participation wasn't necessary. This is the most you can ever expect from head coach Bill Belichick. Wes has been working hard all the way through. We know he's going to go out there and do everything he can. I think he's done that at every opportunity. He's had all the way through spring. It's a long process. It's a gradual process. We'll just take it day by day and see how it goes. There, happy? Of course you aren't, because the Patriots don't care about your fantasy team! Here's a partial list of things we think we know about the various members of New England's roster, although much of this could be wrong. Tom Brady feels great. As great as you can feel, he says. So, that's great. Just great. It's all greatness. He's apparently treated the preseason as if lollygaggers will be executed at sunrise. Brady's team was embarrassed in a home playoff loss to Baltimore last January, so the edginess isn't a total surprise. He passed for nearly 4,400 yards last season, and he's just 2 seasons removed from a 50-touchdown campaign. And he's the 4th quarterback taken in an average mock ADP of 34. And he's feeling great, in case you were wondering. Brian Hoyer fills the understudy role, which proved to be a lottery ticket for Matt Castle back in 2008. With his trademark humility, Randy Moss had this to say during the offseason: "I'm definitely in some great shape." And this team is absolutely dripping it with great. The 33-year-old Moss inspired a new generation of doubters last year, thanks largely to his indifferent one-catch performance against Carolina and his ineffectiveness against Darrelle Revis. Nonetheless, Moss still finished the season with 1,264 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns, because he happens to be on the short list of the best players in NFL history. He should be no worse than a late first or early second rounder in fantasy drafts. He's in a contract year for those who care about such things. Torrey Holt, who used to be rather great, has been placed on IR with a knee injury, so you can remove him from your fantasy draft board. Brandon Tate has a chance to claim the 3rd position in the receiver hierarchy behind Moss and Welker, who may or may not be ready for the opener. Again, Welker is just 8 months removed from significant knee injury. If he's not fully recovered, and how could he be, then Julian Edelman really gets interesting. Edelman has reportedly been lining up in the backfield, which would be a fun wrinkle if the Pats actually use it, and this parenthetical has become much too long. Rookie wideout Taylor Price is a dynasty option, but his path to playing time is cluttered. The Pats don't generally turn to tight ends into fantasy starts, so contain your excitement about Rob Gronkowski. Last year, injuries to Sammy Morris, knee injury, and Fred Taylor, ankle injury, allowed Lawrence Maroney to emerge as the lead back in New England's offense, and he broke the plane in every game from Week 6 to Week 12. Maroney also lost a fumble in every game from Week 10 to Week 12, however. After he coughed up the ball on the goal line against Jacksonville in Week 16, Belichick had seen enough. Maroney was inactive the following week, and he was an afterthought in the playoffs. 1 carry, 2 yards. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis started for the Pats in their preseason opener against the Saints, and he reached the end zone in the 1st quarter. This is a dangerous backfield for fantasy purposes. In the end, we could see 4 backs who get at least 70 carries, and Kevin Falk will again be the guy to own in PPR leagues. Ty Warren has been placed on IR with a hip injury, and this is clearly no small loss for the New England's defense. Even with a healthy Warren, This unit can be ranked only as a low-end fantasy option. They didn't score well in our imaginary game last year, recording just 31 sacks. The IDPs you'll want to own here are linebacker Gerard Mayo and defensive back Brandon Merriweather. And so, this ends our Patriots report. The franchise has an all-time quarterback, an all-time wide receiver, and a backfield that works in real life but rarely in our game. In Welker, they also have one of the trickiest risk-reward calls on the board, ADP of 77.2. He's attempting to return on an insane timeline, but if he pulls off the comeback, you'll get a 123-catch receiver at a steep discount. If you're buying, let's hear the hype in the comments.